well, and I was very, very impressed also by the inclusion of Asian when he came in. He really stopped the rampaging Zambian attackers, especially when Suzu started putting the long balls to Katongo, and Musanda and Co started pushing until they got that goal. All in all, I think we should thank God that we won this match and we are through to the last stage of qualifying for the World Cup.
The Zambian team coming to Accra with a definite task from the way they played. Did you see them coming at the Black Stars and thinking that they could beat the Black Stars in Accra, in Kumasi?
Oh yes, you see, they had this psychological advantage, having won the last two encounters between the two teams. And then they had a coach who is very good at the mind game and who did it very well. He nearly succeeded, and then they did everything. I was listening to BBC this morning, and I heard their complaints about not being given access to Baba Yara Stadium to train as FIFA regulations, and then they're refusing to train when the pitch was open to them this morning. It's all work for them, and it made the boys to be well determined that, okay, even if we lose, we can go home and then tell our countrymen that we didn't get a very good, a friendly atmosphere to play. They have a very good team. You know, they won the Kasafa Cup.
Right, James.
And they are a side that kept together again for another 12 months with a world beater.
Right, James. The Black Stars have had very tough times against the Zambians, and apart from when Abedi Pele scored that goal in the team that virtually ended because of the plane crash, they have never had a very good win, as you put it, against the team. Now, today's win, does it then go to say that now the Black Stars have exercised the Chipolopolo ghost?
Oh, no. What you should do is that you have to quickly travel back in time to 1978 at Accra Sports Stadium, when Ghana hosted and won the African Cup of Nations for kids. We saw Sam Dudu when he paraded Doka and Go, PSK Paha, Awuleko the captain, Akwe, Kukudazi 5, and then Adolf, you have Keteyosin 7, you have Dankaya Day 8, you have Opoko Afriye. Then the golden boy was in 10, and the dribbling magician Polo was 11. We beat the Zambia 2-1 with their Kalusha, Kalunde, and Kende. You know, they had a better team at that time than this present team. So, you know, there's a generation of players, and from what I know, custody of history of the African soccer, I think this team that played against Zambia played very well, won, but they have not really exercised, the ghost of the Chipolopolo. The most important thing is that they have won this match, and then I take this as a welcome qualifier. So they still have the revenge mission in future when we are talking of playing them in the African Cup of Nations subsequently.
Right, thank you so much, James Oyedeji, for talking to me.
Thank you so much.
James is a soccer analyst and a historian, and we'll be talking to other people right from the Kumasi Sports Studio. But George, my colleague, is in the studio. George, welcome. Now, let's begin to look at the Black Star team. Now, 2-1. Is that a scoreline that was expected?
Let's say a win was expected. 2-1. Almost everybody wanted some more. Otumfuo said he wanted 4 goals.
Right.
Indeed, in the media, most people were talking about 5 goals, 3 goals. It didn't really matter how wide the margin was. What mattered was we won.
Right.
But I love everything that James said, but I think that we still have a lot of things to talk about. You know, now I'd like to be going through the departments as we move. First of all,
so let's begin from the defensive setup. Sure. Now, I saw Fatal Dada today. From the beginning, I was not comfortable. He was messing up some of the balls that came to him. Was he tensed? The might of Zambia overwhelming him? Is that what happened to him?
Not really. He did very well in the African Cup of Nations. I won't say he was tense, but what's happening to him is he moved from Ashgold to Orlando Pirates, where he's not a first choice goalkeeper. He's not been in the post for a number of games.
Right.
And these are the issues because our players often move because of cash as against their careers. Fatal Dada was even probably a doubt if he was going to start. If Kwase didn't get injured, it was a doubt if he was going to start because he's not had playing time. And you could see clearly that Fatal Dada was rusty.
He was fumbling.
And with almost every ball, he had to touch it twice.
Hold it there. Let me go to Kumasi and speak to Ibrahim Redwan Asante there. Now, Ibrahim, great to have you. Now, tell me, how is the mood in Kumasi where you are at the moment?
Hello.
Well, Ibrahim, great to have you. You're on today's big story live. Now, what is the mood in Kumasi at the moment? Well, Ibrahim had some difficulty getting through to me in Accra. But Ibrahim Asante, if you can hear me, you are live on today's big story, and the Black Stars just winning by 2-1. What is the mood in Kumasi?
Yes, it looks like people here in Kumasi are on cloud 9. Everything has come to fruition. The plan was that we win the game, Ghana make it to the next stage of the qualifiers, and then there is joy in abundance. So, for now, the party started in the stands when the clock, takes to 90 minutes. All of them, the supporters union, just marched off and went into the street. So, if just outside the stadium, it's a lot of pubs lined up. You can see people, choked in there, and it's going to be a long day, especially with it being a weekend.
The fans are not really worried about the 2-1 scoreline because the prediction was for more. They are not worried about the 2-1 scoreline.
Can you pick that one again?
Well, I'm asking that before the match, a lot of fans and supporters wanted a complete routing of the Zambians, if I should put it that way. But it ended 2-1. And they're worried about the 2-1 scoreline. I'm talking about the fans. Well, Ibrahim, Ridwan Asante there has difficulty getting me here in Accra. But Ibrahim, thanks so much for joining us. Stay there and be safe. We'll get to you when the lines are clear. Let me come back to the studio, George. Now, we were talking about Fatal where we left
all
off.
of that happening to him. So clearly, not having to be the first choice goalkeeper of Orlando Pirates is beginning to be an issue, and he needs to quickly look out to that. That's one of the areas we're not very. I was very sad to see Fatal Dauda almost crumbling to every ball. He had to take 2 touches before he did it. His form is not totally gone, but it's one area we have to quickly work out. Another area
is sending players to teams that they'll have to warm the benches,
especially as a goalkeeper.
I saw the two of our main back.
You're talking about Jonathan Mensah and John Boy,
and then Jonathan.
Yeah, Jonathan.
They seem to be clashing all the time. The net is not there yet.
That's right. The communication was a problem today, and again, it also goes to say how low this man's confidence has dropped. They're talking about Fatal Dauda because the communication between Fatal Dauda and the defenders wasn't so excellent. And again, between John Boy and Jonathan Mensah, you always have John Boy wanting to do, just too much. He's not been asked to do really. And most of the times they put Jonathan Mensah in loads of trouble. So again, the central defensive pair wasn't too good. But we can talk about
Jonathan
the right back
was there at the World Cup. So
that's right. You wonder what's happening. Yes, again, a lot of experience, even with John Boy as well. He's also played for Hearts Alliance before moving out to play in France. But clearly, it means that these two guys will really need
a lot more work
to be done out there.
Did placing Asian in front of them help them in any way?
It really didn't help them because at the time when Asian came in, the coach was looking at trying to strengthen the defense. I mean, strengthening the team and make sure that it wasn't going to be easy for the Zambians to go through. But even just before I go there, I want to touch on the right back position again. Daniel Opari came in, sweet young man. It's been a problem for us, the right back position. We had options like Samuel Linkum, Richard Kisibuating. The coach went for Daniel Opari. We understand that. But clearly, he also showed a few, lapses here and there. His recovery was quite slow, fantastic in attack, and his supplies were not one that we really liked as well today. So one area we have to work on. The same could be said for Harrison Afful, but indeed he has been playing in the left back position for a while. We come to the midfield area you were talking about.
Before that, before we deal with the midfield, now you watched the goal against the Black Stars.
That's right.
The corner was taken, and the players all of a sudden seemed to be relaxing, just watching the Zambians.
You wonder what happened there. It was loss of concentration, and that's what you say. Loss of concentration.
These are professionals.
Professionals. Nobody willing to take the responsibility. And indeed, I think they underestimated the corner kick. They felt that they were too safe because the Zambians had tried a number of times and it was not really working. They all went to sleep at the time. They were caught ball watching, and before they knew it, the ball was right in the net. There were quite a number of Black Stars players who could have dealt with whatever. Nobody even threw a leg.
Zambians.
Yes, and it happens, It happens. We won, but these are some of the issues and some of the things.
Coach Appiah would have to quickly look at.
He quickly has to look at that.
From the beginning of the match, I saw Rabi Mohammed, who was to stay in the middle there. Would you say he did good work?
Today he was just too rough. That was the problem. He did the work we expect him to do, but I think today he was just too rough. Rabiu Mohammed going forward will have to learn that being a central defensive midfielder does not mean you have to be too hard.
Right.
He was just too hard today, and
trying to prove a point
and all of that. Yes, and it happens
together.
Especially because today, the coach was playing 4 in the midfield. It wasn't the 4-2. Normally, when it's 4-2, you can have a Rabiu Mohammed and an Ajima Bedu. So then the responsibility is not there. But today, you could see clearly he was out there to prove to us what he had. But he has to learn to be soft. You could see that when Michael Essien came on, there was a bit of the experience touches and how he'll go about it. He doesn't have all the energy, but it was good to see him back.
I don't know if that was the plan of the coach, but I thought Michael Essien was too stuck to the middle there. He didn't want to move.
Yes, obviously.
Was that the plan of the coach?
I think it was just a plan. He was coming in to stabilize the midfield because you realize that the Zambians were taking massive control of the midfield. Even though we're playing, when the Zambians had the ball, they had the mastery in midfield, and that was a problem for the coach. So he wanted to get in players that would not only have the hard tackles, but who can stabilize things. And we saw him do it when he brought on Ajima Bedu. We saw him do it when he brought on Michael Essien, with that eye, trying to ensure that there will be some stability in the team.
George, let us talk about the striking role as well as the left and the right flank. But let's listen to the coach, Kwesi Appiah, and Captain Michael Essien.
Kwesi, it must be a very satisfying result. Now you're only 1 match away from Brazil 2014.
Yeah, I said that, Zambia has got a very good team. It's not going to be easy game. And we all saw it, that all what we needed to do is make sure that we don't concede any goal. And then, secondly, we tactically defend and rely on counter-attacks, which I think the players did very well.
Would you say that you were very satisfied with the structure of your team?
In actual fact, it wasn't my expectation as to how we played. But tactically, we needed to either get a win or get a draw. And the most important thing, our ambition was to try and get a win, which I think the players did very well to get.
2 goals to 1 match away from Brazil 2014. Your impressions on the match?
Yeah, today was a very difficult game. The Zambians were well prepared. They played like a team. I'd like to congratulate them. They played like a team. But with our mentality that we have and the quality of the players, we were more calm today, and we knew we could win this game. And at the end of the day, we won by 2 goals to 1.
Right, Captain Asamoah Gyan there, who had to be taken out. Back to the studio. George, let's not begin to look at the striking role before we come to the flanks. Now, we're looking up to see Asamoah Gyan as a leading striker. Then we saw Majid Waris there. What game was the coach playing?
The coach for the last few games, again, when we played against Lesotho, when we played against Sudan, had decided that he would play Majid Waris up front, and he's some sort of a decoy for Asamoah Gyan, so that when it appears that whoever we're playing against will have 2 minds, the opponents might decide to concentrate on Asamoah Gyan, who is the main man, and then forget about Abdul Majid Waris. So what happens is that you pay attention to Abdul Majid Waris, and Asamoah Gyan can get in and score the goals. But I think that Hervé Renard did his homework very well. He had watched the 2 games, and in this particular game, Sun Tzu kept on everywhere Asamoah Gyan was. So what happened was the Zambians paid too much attention to Asamoah Gyan today, and rather let Majid Waris, who's rather quick,
that resulted in the goal that Waris scored.
Precisely. And if you look at his contribution in the game, he always found himself in free areas. He's a great player. He has an eye to find the space, a good player who can take a shot. But you realize that today, Sun Tzu was really on. Himondi was supposed to be doing the work on Majid Waris, but most of the time they had forgotten about it and were concentrating on Asamoah Gyan. I have to say that Majid Waris is really the next thing for Ghana in the strike partnership. They've had a wonderful strike partnership, and I think that anytime Asamoah Gyan draws deep, this young man is able to step up and play very well. Yes, we might say that Asamoah Gyan probably didn't come out because he had a knock, but I think that let's not tone this down. Majid Waris did very, very well, and what the coach was looking out for today is Asamoah Gyan stay in the background, let them come at you, leave Waris and let him be free and go. I think that's
so that Waris can cause
and he did very well. I think I had no problem with that at all.
The returnee, that's what he's been referred to. The TIU, I was impressed.
Yes.
I was impressed about that young man.
Even much impressed today because he was not played in the normal role we expect. He was not playing on the left. Today he was playing on the right, and the coach was looking at him cutting in and sending in the balls. I think that he's a player who has always shown the commitment anytime he's in the team, and you could see he he came in with a lot of quality. He has the ball, he can meander his way through. You saw 1 or 2 times, and the way he's, a copycat of the way he scored that goal against Mali in the African Cup of Nations. That was in 2012. The same thing he did today. A lot of energy there. But again, we will have to find out how we can solve the problem of who plays the right
and who plays the left.
Who plays the left?
The flanks.
Right now, we have a lot of left-sided players. We have the Christian Achu, we have Mubarak Okasu, we have Kwadwo Samoa, we have
Kwadwo Samoa today played in his traditional role. And he was very comfortable there.
Very, very comfortable there. Often we drift this man to the flanks, and it's a problem for him. Today, he was in there. He sucked in a bit like he does in Juventus, like he was doing it in Udinese, and it was fantastic for him today. We'll have to now work on who plays the right. I don't know what the coach was thinking about.
What is the problem there?
Yeah, you see, when you were playing, traditionally we've been playing the 4-2-3-1 formation, and it means that you must have a sharp right and a sharp left. When this coach was when Milovan was around, he had a young guy called Ajiman, who was playing very well, high energy. But since that guy got injured, we've never got him about Buku Ajiman. Now we don't have anybody to fill in the slot. It's one slot where we have been rotating. Kevin, who do we put in? Albert Aduma, who do we put in? It's been one thing we have been going forth and back. It's high time we get somebody to go in there, because even for Kevin, I think that he will enjoy playing right behind the striker if we are playing the 4-2-3-1 formation. So it's one that we have to work on. Andre, good, but it's always it's sort of improvising. When you put a left man, you're on the right. It gives the team a certain width, but it's not what we're looking at, in the final picture. So congratulations to the Black Stars. Great at that side, but let's work on especially the right back, and then again the right wing, the right flank is one we have to work on. Left back, we're still managing, because we're using Harrison Afo, who is a left-footed player, and he's playing a right-footed player playing the left back. It's also another place we have to work on, but I think that on the balance, at least for the flanks, let's try and get somebody who can do the work effectively for us right there. Striking, excellent by the two
job
guys
for
as well.
today. Coach Appiah, moving on, these are the young men he would have to depend on. Do you think that the areas that you're talking about that you think needed to be sharpened a bit, should he be scouting for more, or perhaps tune up these ones that he has in camp and get them fitted to these positions?
Yeah, we have quite a number of players. There's one, Nana Kwesi Asare, who is playing for Utrecht in Holland. Fantastic player who can slot in very well at left back, so that we don't need to do any improvisation. I think what we have to do is go out and scout. This is not the end. This is just a step, a spring in a step, no matter what. But we'll have to try and scout and get some players. I'm very sure we have players who can do it. Maybe when Kevin is fine and he gets into the team, maybe when the coach decides to bring back Suleiman Tari, we can then decide exactly what to do, because currently there's an imbalance right now. Too many left-footed players in the team, and we have to try and do with the right back. Now, Daniel Opare is one player that we can look up and say that in future he can do well. He'll just have to quickly learn how to combine the attacking roles with the defensive roles. Very, very important. His attacking today was quite okay, but how many crosses did he deliver, and how many quality crosses did he deliver? I think that's an issue.
That's very important.
Yes, very important.
We need to bank in the goals. Let's not leave the Zambians out. This is a team I keep saying that the Zambian team is overrated. That is my opinion, because Zambia is not a very strong football nation if you want to compare them to the Black Stars. Why are the Zambians not able to match the Black Stars so much?
I think they have a fantastic coach, first of all. And there's a team that is built on fitness and strategy and static. This is one...
Because they have their military background?
Yes, not necessarily, but I think when Heber Renard, 5 years ago, when he was in Ghana and he was assisted in Clara, he was much interested in the fitness of the player. He's a coach that is always interested in how fit a player is. And that's what he's actually introduced to the Zambian team. So yes, they come in with a lot of discipline, and they have the fitness at the level. They've been playing very well, but in the African qualifiers, they're proving to be a side that's they've not been good travelers.
Would you describe them as a tournament team? They perform well in tournament, and yet when it comes to the normal football...
Even with the tournament, I don't know where to place them, because yes, they won the 2012. What did they do in 2013? It's absolutely horrendous.
They went out in
the first round. So it's one that we're looking at, but I think that going forward, what we need to do is get in more young guys. Yes, I think it's time to quickly shake the park and get in more young guys. And again, there have been issues with whether Heber Renard is going to be at the helm. There have been issues with sorting out who gets what with the Zambian Football Federation. So these are issues that they can sort it out. Then they can get in young men coming in. Yes, Sinkala, Lungu, all these guys are doing very well. Sunzu, Himbonde, good work in Kasu, but looking forward, they have to try as much as possible to get in the young ones, and then they have to understand that being a powerhouse in Africa means a lot. Something like that. It doesn't necessarily mean
just winning one tournament.
Not just winning one tournament.
And
yes.
then you rise
it means
to
a
the
lot.
top.
They'll have to put themselves together. But if they can keep this man at the helm of affairs, I mean, for some time, I'm sure he'll be able to put all of these things together if they get all these things sorted out. But it's a very, very crack side, and they play very, very well. I love the way they concentrate, control the ball, especially in the midfield, wherever they are. It's just, I think they're just bad travelers, and the drama to this game and everything. Really
right. And we're not sure which team Ghana is playing next.
Yes, we are not sure, but we can be confident that at least with the current rankings, Ghana is not doing very bad. It's going to be, highly ranked teams pitched against the lowly ranked teams, and so once we are in the first to third, we are sure of getting not a very, very strong opponent. Anyway, if you want to go to the World Cup, you have to prepare to meet anyone because it can be Brazil.
And especially when these days, every country is very
good, no matter what.
Football,
yes.
You can't just ignore any country else. You get disappointed.
So maybe the Ghanaian fans will be thinking about, okay, why don't we get on Ethiopia and then finish them and go? But there are other great teams in there. We'll see what happens to Nigeria. I'm not too sure about the news that's coming in. They have to be playing Malawi, and they have to try as much as possible to be in there, because if you look at the African qualifiers, there are a number of teams that might make it in the end. So you can have a Gabon, you can possibly have a Malawi, you could have an Ethiopia, and maybe, who knows, Ghana could get on one of these ones and quickly qualify. I think this is a real
for Brazil 2014.
Yeah, for Brazil.
Would love to be there.
Right, obviously. I would want to be there, actually.
Thanks so much, George, for passing
All
through.
Right,
and of course, we've been talking about a great day for Ghana. The Black Stars through to the next round of the 2014 World Cup qualifiers. Brazil waiting to see the dazzling young stars of Africa doing what they did 2010 in South Africa. This is how we're wrapping up the show. But don't forget that the JN Interactive segment is on right when I come back. And of course, what will be trending? Nothing more than the Black Stars having qualified through the next round of the 2014 World Cup in Brazil. Stay right there. When I come back, Marian Toure will be here. We'll be talking about what is trending on the social media. Stay with us. We're coming back in a moment.